forget. So like I was saying, so Amber she's just developing into this leader. She's growing her own team. And to be honest, she is one of those coaches that is just on the rise, and I'm ready for Beachbody Corporate to come down and be like, hey girl, we see you, because she's truly motivated and inspirational in everything she's doing, and she doesn't give herself enough credit for all the hard work that she does and all the success that she actually achieves. She just doesn't see it herself. So we've got to show her and give her a little encouragement here, right, Amber? So without further ado, Amber, go ahead.
Well, thanks so much. Oh my goodness. I wouldn't expect anything. Like, that means a lot. First off, apologies for rambling. And if I'm reading off my paper, because it's definitely something new to me to talk to a camera as opposed to like a person. But I broke it down into like 2 sections and kind of some steps that I plan to do myself and what I do every month. But this past month, I did it consistently. I know we talk about it all the time. There's a lot of things that Erica tells us every day, but I know I heard it on a podcast or, another team, and it's finally sticking. So I'm going to say it again and hope it sticks to at least one other person. But to start off, every first of the month, I review my last month. I see how many people I contacted. Usually I'm upset with myself because I went low, but I'm actually really happy with the number I had this past month. And I think it directly correlates with my Success Club. So for once, it actually paid off. So if you're not tracking, do that this month. So next month you can review. From there, ask yourself how many people you talked to that actually said yes to more info. So just go down the line. I talked to X amount of people. They were interested in at least hearing what we have to say. Then from there, yes or no. Then break it down into what kind of objections they had. From there, I kind of go with when I'm going to invite them in the month. If it's a price objection, this is actually number 2. Any price objections in the past or in the last month, invite to your free group the first day, because that's their solution. It's free. They have no excuses at that point. Whether they've done it again, or it's going to be a repeat, or you're adding a new recipe, whatever you want to do, invite them. I have, number 3. This one's more business-wise. Set up weekly chats with your downline, upline, or both. I have not been consistent with that. And I like to say it gives me momentum. I don't know if it's helping my coaches, but it's helping me. It's giving me a reason to keep track of my stuff because I'm asking them where theirs is. So it's keeping me accountable in my business. Number 4, write down all of your excuses. I did it on a Post-it note last month, but you can do it however you want. And then I flipped it over and turned them into what I'm doing it for. So a few examples where I don't have time, and I kind of just counteract it with set my alarm a half hour early, or if I make the business work, I'm going to have all the time in the world. So that's actually why we're doing it. Another example I had was I'm too nervous to invite. This is me personally. But I will tell you, the more you invite, the more confident you'll get. And you'll get that confidence into each conversation. And the conversation, surprisingly or not surprisingly, goes a lot smoother. Am I going too fast? Is everyone all right? Okay.
Hold on one second. Okay, so these are things that you do every month to have like that consistency. Is that correct?
Correct. And
okay.
Last month was when I did it like actually
went through it, right? Because it's super easy, even as leaders or people who've been in this business, to like tell people to do those things, but to like actually do them is like another thing, right? Yeah, because I struggle with it too. I'm like, add 3 people to your network every day. And then I look back at the month, I'm like, wow, I literally added 3 people for the whole month. So I totally get what you're going with that. And that's awesome. These tips are amazing.
Yay. Okay. And then my last one for things to do is obviously write a goal. We do that all the time. But personally, I had my coaches last month and myself break down the goals into little goals. They seem a little bit more achievable and they're not overwhelming. My goal last month was to contact 100 people and actually invite them. But you know how that goes. Sometimes they don't even answer. But then break it down to how many people. That means you have to invite daily. It gets it a little bit more realistic. So if you had 100 people this month, that would be 31 days I wrote down. And that actually is more than 3 people a day. It's 3.2 in my calculations. And let's be honest, 7 days a week, you're not going to do it. So at least do 6 days a week. Make it a little bit more realistic for yourself. But that goes for anything. If you want to sign 3 coaches and there's 4 weeks in the month, you kind of have to shoot for 1 a week. Stuff like that. Break it down so that you know where you are and you can track it each week, as opposed to, it's February 29th and all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, I got to get this done. So, which I had a few text messages yesterday from coaches feeling that, and don't put yourself in that position. Know where you should be week 1, week 2, week 3, and if you're not there, step up your game. Do you want to take a pause? This is where I'm going to switch gears a little.
So does anybody have any questions about things that Amber just went over, or comments or anything like that? Okay, so here's my only thing I want to add in. So Amber, you and I have obviously we're talking a lot in the month of February, and you shared your goals with me. Share with us what you think is valuable about sharing your goals with other people, and who do you suggest that people share their goals with? Like, is it just their upline coach? I mean, do you tell your boyfriend your goals? Like, who is your support system in your goals every month, or specifically last month when you crushed it?
I told my Teen Cup team. So whoever that is to you, I would suggest to keep talking to whoever pushed you. It might not be all 5 people. I told my boyfriend, because he was annoyed that I wasn't spending time with him. So I had to make a little bit of be like, this is real, it will pay off. And I told my downline, because I feel like I am, for some reason, this person that if I'm not doing it, they're not going to do it.
Which is true.
Yeah, so I just, I wanted to hold up my end of the stick, and my upline, I texted you and Maggie.
Perfect. Awesome. So I think it's important for everybody to hear, just so that you know that it's real when you tell people. So it's real when people want to know, like you said, your boyfriend didn't understand, what are you doing? You're just on Facebook. They don't understand what you're actually doing. And it sounds like Amber told 10 people her goals to keep her accountable. I mean, that's huge. So don't just tell your upline, or don't just tell yourself. Just by telling yourself isn't going to do much. That's why we put so much of our lives on public and, in social media and stuff. I put out there publicly, I'm going to be an elite team. We're going to be an elite team this year. That's public now. That's scary. And that makes me want to work for it every single day. So tell those people, and tell as many people as possible, not only your monthly goals, but even your daily goals or your yearly goals. So that's great. Thanks for sharing that, Amber. And then transition us into where you are going with next.
Yeah, I actually just realized I also wrote them on my calendar with Post-it notes. And today I looked at them and I was able to rip off 4 out of the 5.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So it's also that little rewarding feeling at the end. And I don't think I even knew I made those goals, to be honest, guys. So keep track of them, because it's exciting when you meet them. All right. Second thing is actually a little shorter, and it's not me. It is something I got from a podcast that I'm going to incorporate. It's about social media, which I think I slack in, and we could always get a little better. One thing was, this guy clearly went through a lot of MLMs. So honestly, let's just say we're not going to switch, but he made it a strong point that you do not want to put your name of the company or your product out there. We say that all the time, but it kind of looks shifty if you start jumping around. But the part that I took from it was, he said to brand yourself instead. I personally don't think we sell ourselves as coaches enough, because we're the free part of the product. And I started telling that to customers this month, and it gave me confidence on the other end, but it also sold the deal. I swear it did. I kept telling them, hey, actually the group's free. All you have to do is buy your groceries and your nutrition. And it clicked somewhere along the line for them. Or I like to think so. But it did make me feel a lot more confident telling them that I'm the free part of it. They just have to invest in themselves.
So let me ask you this about as far as like branding. You don't want to sell yourself short also, like you also are, you know, a really important thing and you want to sell yourself. So how do you feel that you can brand yourself like you, Amber, but also tell people like, I'm actually free, my products aren't. So how do you envision that, or how do you think you already incorporate that?
Well, my next step was to start listing what you are as a person and don't make it your business related. So don't say I work out. Don't put I focus on my eating. Instead, pick something that people who wouldn't normally be attracted to your workout photos and make them like you. So maybe you like reading, or you're a moviegoer, or you're just like a movie buff and no actresses. Start posting about stuff like that. So you're branding who you are as a person and not as technically a coach.
Sorry, I muted myself, so I was like, oh, that's good. But okay. No, that's perfect. I think that's a great way to describe it.
And then after that, I wrote to become an expert on something. And he harps on, and I believe Erica said it a lot. You don't have to be an expert in your eyes, but you have to just know more than one other person to be an expert on the subject, because you're teaching that one person. And I have learned a lot of things that people that I think is second nature is no longer second nature for a lot of people, and they have no idea. Simply as not putting creamer, but putting in, almond milk, stuff like that we were talking about for free groups. So become an expert and own it. You are an expert. They didn't know it. You taught them something. So just remember that, and that comes along with your branding. And then under that one more bullet, I have, are you an infomercial? By that, I mean, look at your Facebook from somebody else's point of view, click on it, log out, go through someone else's account. Evaluate. I think he said the last 10 posts. I went a few more weeks back. Are you only doing one thing? Are you only posting about your Shakeology? Are you only posting about the opportunity? Are you only posting about your dog? Stuff like that. Be more than that in yourself. Just like if you were on a TV show, you wouldn't just watch all the infomercials. You're looking for the show. You're looking for like the guts and the glory of it. So think a little bit more of that and be well-rounded in your branding. And then I have one thing to just leave you with. I want everyone to change their profile picture and then comment or message everyone personally and say, hey, how are you? Thanks for liking my picture. Start a conversation. It is so simple. This podcast, actually, that was what they told us. And I did it tonight, so we'll see how it goes. But do it and start those conversations. It's the first of the month, and they're now your list.
So that's so hard to do, but it's funny that you say that, because that entrepreneur thing I was just at there, one of the questions somebody asked in the crowd, and this guy who's the CEO and founder of his own company said, I think the question was, what was the hardest thing you had to do when you were starting your business? And he said it was say hello to 10 people a day. And he said he feels bad for entrepreneurs now because it's really easy to hide behind social media and internet or the website. And he said when he was building his business, he was much older than myself, but he was saying that he didn't have the means that we have. And so he had to physically go out and say hello to 10 people. Could you guys imagine right now going to the mall and just saying hello to 10 people? I think I would pee my pants if I had to do that. Right? So it's a really great challenge. And I hope everybody accepts it. Amber, I absolutely will do it. Challenge accepted. I think it's going to be hard though, but that's where we grow, I guess, right?
Right.
What questions do you guys have for Amber? None? She was that good? She is that good. Yes, you were. Confidence. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I had a question. Let me look through my notes. Okay, So my question for you would be, when you were talking about branding yourself and not posting about the same things like over and over again, and we talk about this obviously a lot, for a new coach, so a new coach that's going to watch this video, what would you say, how do they start out as a coach, talking and putting themselves out there and branding who they are without us being like, oh, you have to be a marketing genius and brand yourself? Like, what's your advice to your new coaches on that?
I want to say we did it actually in a training, was to list 5 things that you are. And I remember at least some, I said, I'm a girlfriend, a daughter, a teacher. I want to say a homeowner. I don't own the house, but I take care of it. I'll say it is well enough. And I forget what my 5th one, maybe a yoga fan. And then I went and reached out to all those people. So maybe ask them what they could do as a job or who they are to somebody else, I would say, and then start going there. I recently started doing things that we were doing around the house, and that brought up conversations with people that I would have, again, never talked to. And I get to say, oh yeah, and my boyfriend drinks Shakeology, because now they're asking me about what he did and where he got that specific thing, which was actually really nice. Nothing came out of it, but they're now on my list of contacts that I never talked to before.
So like you can talk about like home ownership on Facebook, start some conversations, and how would you turn that into a conversation about Beachbody or Shakeology or whatever?
Right. I want to say example 1 was, granted, my schedule also for dance teaching, I'm like home in the morning sometimes and sometimes at night different. But I said I was painting while he was at work so he could come home from work and do the second paint job. And he said, how are you painting right now? Aren't you at work? And I said, I actually don't work a 9-to-5 job, and that's one of my goals, is to be home. And then I kind of transitioned. He did ask me, I want to say, like, what credit we had at Home Depot. It was a very bizarre. And I was like, I don't know. I don't do that job. But I transitioned it from me being at home. I said nothing about teaching dance again. That was the real reason. But I said that's actually my goal, is to be able to be here as much as possible.
Yeah, I think that's really great. So I think the other thing we as coaches tend to forget to do is 2 things. So you were talking a lot about how we're the experts in like our field, and you and I talked about this a lot this month. So when you guys are running your free clean eating groups, don't forget that we love fitness and nutrition a lot more than the average person. That's why we're here. That's why we're coaches. So when we're like, oh, we need to tell people to drink half their body weight of water in ounces, or how, you guys know where I'm going with that. We think like everybody knows that, but a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't have very basic knowledge of fitness and nutrition. So make sure that you are confident in everything that you are saying, but also remember that you are an expert more than you think you are. And we don't give ourselves enough credit, like Amber was saying, but we are the experts in this situation, and you need to own it, and you need to not, I don't know how to put this, but like, don't belittle yourself. So don't think like, oh, I'm just an average person. I don't have a nutrition degree. I don't have a fitness background. I'm not a teacher. I'm not certified in anything. Or maybe you are, but don't think of yourself as somebody who, doesn't have the authority to give direction and to take ownership of something. So I guess in a way it kind of boils down to confidence, but when you own what you do like wholeheartedly, people can feel that through the computer screen. People really trust you when you feel that passion and you feel that like expertness, and you portray that to the people that you are working with. And that's going to go in the conversations that you're having as well. So Amber mentioned a lot about having those conversations with people and telling them, I am free, like my services are free, but the product isn't. So don't be afraid to tell people that, yeah, this is going to cost money, because everything in life freaking costs money. But don't also tell people that like, I don't work for free and I do have to get paid. And I'm not asking you to pay me for my time, but I'm asking you to pay for your product, for the service I'm providing you with these products. So don't be afraid to own that. And I think I mentioned it before, but Melissa McAllister does a great job of that. She puts it out there like, listen, I will coach you and I will mentor you and I will give you my one-on-one time. Because think about it, when you guys hop into a challenge group or even these, even the 5-day groups, really, you're putting time into it. And if you were at a corporate job and you put in an hour's worth of work, wouldn't you write down on your time card that you put in an hour's worth of work? So you need to get compensated for that. You need to get paid for it because you're the expert in your field and experts get paid for things. So I thought that was a really fabulous point that you brought up, Amber. Does anybody else have anything for Amber? Any questions, comments? Van Dyke does.
I missed most of it, and I'm sorry.
And by Van Dyke, I mean Knox. Sorry.
What?
I called you Nikki Van Dyke, but I meant Nikki Knox.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, so this is recording, it looks like, right?
It is. Sure is.
Good? Okay. All right. Sorry, I was having computer and phone and literally everything issues. So.
You're fine. She rocked it. So yeah, we recorded it.
Yay!
I'm going to stop the recording. Amber, did you have any closing words?
No, I really just think follow through with your goals and don't make excuses because everyone does and everyone has excuses.